Hello viewers, here is a vintage Westinghouse air conditioner. This is a model number, oh dear, AC05 something 7, and it has 10.25 ounces of R22 in it, and I believe it's a 5,000 British thermal units. Made in USA, of course. Nice low pressures. And I did a number of videos on this last year when I found it. This was a trash find that had a number of things. It actually wasn't that bad. It was just really dirty. Only major failure was the thermostat wasn't working. And so I had got a new thermostat, which was this one. I was hoping I could retrofit this to work, and it just didn't work out. It would satisfy well before the unit had actually cooled the room. So that's not going to work. I have this one here. This is the original thermostat. It just doesn't work. That's all corroded. This thing was outside in the elements for quite a while. So the air conditioner guy recommended a particular thermostat. I think it was a Fetters branded one. I got it on the eBay, and it was fairly expensive. I think it was almost $30, but it was the right kind and it fit. So I just put it on there, and I realize this isn't really the best dial to use, but it's the one I have. You can hear it clicking on and off, so that's working. So I'm going to close this back up, and we're going to give this a test, and we're going to see. Hopefully it works better this time. Something tells me it's not going to. I've been told that there's a little hole here on the inside of this control box, and that hole supposedly draws air into it, into the out through the evaporator fan, and then the air goes into these little holes there, and that's how the thermostat supposedly keeps the temperature accurate. It doesn't seem like a very good system to me, and I think even when this was working correctly, it still probably wasn't all that accurate, in my speculation. But I do need to at least get it to the point where it will run for more than 2 or 3 minutes, because this gets very cold. This is where the air comes out, and it's very cold. This gets cold, and it was making this in here very cold. So I put this insulation here, hopefully to kind of stop that from happening. Original capacitor is still in there. I refused to replace it because it still works so well. So anyways, I'm going to close this back up if I can get everything to fit in there. And we're going to give it a test run and see how long it works. Okay, that's back in place. Put this cover back on. And we'll power it up and see what transpires. I don't really have a way to give it a good accurate test, because what I want to do maybe is put it in between here, and in between these two rooms, because I have a fairly large piece of styrofoam that I can put there and block off most of it and kind of insulate it between that other room. And maybe I'll do that sometime. But for now, I just want to see if it'll run, because before it wouldn't even run in an environment like this where the temperature's not going to change for more than a few minutes. So if it can run successfully like this for even just 5 or 10 minutes, I think it will be safe to say that it's fixed. So I think that's on. So I'm going to turn that off. And I haven't had this running in a while, so hopefully there's no dust or whatever going to blast out of it. It probably is. Alright, here we go. I don't know what side is fan versus compressor, because the label isn't there, but we'll try that. There we go, it's running. I should have had this on the other side so you could hear the compressor. It's already cold, very cold actually. .53. The ambient in here is about 67. Going down. That's on all the way cold, but I don't know how calibrated that is. Alright, we'll let this sit for a while and see what transpires. Okay, so now the question becomes, how long will it take, or how far does it have to be turned to cut off? Not very far at all, so that was right at the end. Now, bear in mind, it's freezing in here. It's 62 degrees. And that's with the heat of the condenser coming into the room as well. So, I don't know. It ran for longer than it has, although I think it was very close to cutting off. But I'm not sure if that was because it's getting colder in here. So I really need to do a better, more accurate test of this. I was thinking I'll put it over there, but it cools so powerfully. It's going to freeze out this room in a matter of probably 10 minutes anyways. You know, because there's so much junk in here. Well, it's not junk, but there's so much accumulation in here. The amount of air is probably not a very large volume in this room anymore. So, yeah, that got stuff really cold. 65 degrees. Okay, I think that's still kind of cold. It should be equalized enough. So that is still working. Let's see, we gotta spin down to the fan. If that go on camera would unblur, probably could have, but oh well. So that's still working. It's working fine. Freezing. I'm turning the heater on. Okay. So anyways, that confirms, or concludes rather, the test. It gave better results than it has before. So I think this may work. Have to wait and see. Hopefully y'all enjoyed those compressor sounds there. I don't know if it'll pick up well on the camera, but you could hear, at least I could in person anyways, I could hear the sound of the compressor change when the fan was off as the pressure built up. So, it's a really neat piece. I can't believe somebody would throw this out. All because I don't know how to clean coils and replace the thermostat. What a shame. Well, for them anyways, not for me.